greatest gift for me is not under a tree, but it lays down deep inside, and with faith it comes alive. See, it's not a holiday, nor is it in any words I might say. From inside is where it comes. Yes, the greatest gift is love. The greatest gift is love. All my life I've searched to find love that would stand the test of time, but in my search I didn't see that love lives within me. So as the seasons pass on by, there's only joy to feel inside. From within, below, above, look inside and you'll find love. Oh, the greatest gift is love. With love, I am patient, I am kind, 'cause that's love. I am unlimited and filled with sweet, sweet love. So the greatest gift, you see, you're not gonna find it underneath no decorated tree, but you'll find it when you look inside and you have the faith to bring it to life. You too can be patient, kind, through love. You'll be unlimited, joy-filled with love. You will be unlimited and joy-filled. Unlimited, radiant, beautiful, grateful, gracious, blessed, through love, with love. You will be patient, kind, unlimited, 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 unlimited. Oh, love, love, love. The greatest gift is love.
Okay, well, I can just go home now, right? I mean, what more needs to be said? Woo, right? We can all go home, yay. Thank you so much, Misa. Because what Misa just did, doesn't matter. What Misa just did was she shared her love. We could feel that, yes? She shared her love, and Unity makes a really clear distinction between love that is the emotion, and don't get me wrong, the emotion that is love is a wonderful thing. I love my wife dearly. I am very grateful for her in my life. That emotional understanding of love is very important to me. But when Unity is talking about love, particularly during the season of Advent, we're not talking about an emotion. We're not talking about something that can change. Because, I'm going to love my wife forever and ever and ever. But that may not be the case for all of us who fall in love, yes? That kind of love is changeable. It's mutable. It's part of our human experience. And that doesn't make it any less valuable or any less important. But it's not the same thing as this idea of we would call this, it's one of our 12 abilities, love. And Charles Fillmore, our founding minister, one of the founding ministers along with Myrtle, describes love as joins and binds together the universe. That's not a small thing, folks. Joins and binds together the universe. Love is a harmonizing, constructive power. So it's not an emotion. It's not something that's going to go away. It's not something that you can't rely upon. It is never going to divorce you. It is always there. It is always there. And it can be really hard for us to break that apart. Because for the most part in our culture, when people talk about love, they are talking about the emotional state of love. And I really want to invite us during this season to be thinking about love as a power that is harmonizing, that is constructive, that is the very fabric of all that there is. So if that is the case, right? I don't know about you, but it's been really hard for me, as I share often how hard things are for me. It has been hard for me. I mean, I watched the images from Kentucky, and my heart just kept breaking. There's things going on in the news, the shooting that happened in Michigan. There are things that are happening all the time. I walk down the street, and I see homeless people. I see people who are without homes. I see people, Chris and I had a person outside of our house, and my heart just went out to him. He was clearly struggling with some sort of mental illness as he ran naked down the street, right? And how do we hold that? Because it gets all caught up with the emotion of love. It gets all caught up with how I'm feeling about something. And yet how do I stay anchored in the absolute, in the thing that never shifts, that never changes? And I find that for myself that sometimes these things are so hard that it makes me shut down. It makes me close myself off. And the thing is that we cannot give freely when we're feeling numb, right? When we are trying to stop ourselves from experiencing some of those feelings, we are also simultaneously cutting ourselves off from source. When we try to control the feelings that are mutable and changeable, we're actually also simultaneously cutting ourselves off from that which we truly are. Because those are a gateway. Our heart is a gateway The emotions that we have are gateways. They aren't it, but they are a doorway that enable us to walk in. So if we see something that breaks our heart open, we are invited to move past the feeling. But I don't know about you, I find that I kind of numb a little bit. Maybe it might be through food. Maybe it might be through alcohol. Maybe it might be through exercise. Maybe it might be through connecting with friends. We can avoid all kinds of things. Maybe it's through Netflix, right? All the ways that we actually are trying to keep ourselves safe somehow, and we're creating some sort of protective cocoon for ourselves. And yet, we are here to give and to be love. So of course the world continually knocks on that cocoon. The world continually knocks upon it and says, hello, you're here to be love. You're not here to be safe. You are here to be love. You are here to show up for each other. And in that showing up, guess what? You actually are safe. But it doesn't come from being closed off. It comes from opening ourselves up. So how is it in those moments when we're numb, right? When we are deadening ourselves to the world, what we're doing is cutting ourselves off from source. What can we do to resource ourselves? What is available to us? And this isn't rhetorical. What do you do to resource yourself? Music. Did that not just open our hearts when Misa sang? Right? So music is a powerful way for us to open up our hearts, to remember something, right? What else can we do to resource ourselves? Service, pray. So let's take pray first, right? Because in Unity, it's one of our foundational pieces, is that we pray. And we pray from the affirming of our divinity. We don't pray from the problem. We don't pray even for a solution. Because in our consciousness of wholeness, there is no problem, therefore there is no solution, right? All there is pure beingness, and that is what we anchor and affirm, the wholeness that we each are. So prayer can absolutely resource us and renew us. Service, right? Being in service. And that one can be really challenging because the minute we're stepping out of, I'm dealing with my inner experience, and all of a sudden we're out in the world, we actually have to deal with other people. And we all know that that can sometimes be the most amazing experience in our life, and it can sometimes be the most aggravating, annoying, and frustrating experience of our life. And in that process of being in service, we're being invited to hold ourselves and each other in love. Do you actually do that? Do you hold yourself in love? Because this idea of self-care is so important, right? Especially if we're finding that we feel cut off, right? I love to take hot baths with candles and with music playing. For me, that resources me. It quiets my nervous system. It allows me to remember something about who I truly am, right? What are the things, and I just want everyone to just be thinking about the things that you're doing right now in the midst of this holiday season that may feel as if they're fun and all that, and are they truly resourcing you? Are they truly renewing you? Or are they part of that, I'm going to try to keep myself safe and in my own little bubble over here just a little bit because it's comfy and it's warm over here? And each of us is going to have a different assessment for that, right? What for me might be avoidance, for someone else is actually self-care. You have to find that sweet spot for yourself where you're actually nurturing your own spirit, where you are actually standing in our practices. So what else can we do to resource ourselves? We have music, service, prayer, take a walk, right? What are the things that are going to remind you? Now, when we're doing all of those things, what they're activating within us is the fact that we are being invited to become aware. We are being invited to become open. We are being invited to become curious. And we are being invited to be brave. Because if anybody in here has sat for any amount of time in the stillness with your own thoughts, you know that it asks you to be brave. It asks you to be willing to meet yourself. And here's the question: how do you meet yourself? Do you meet yourself with all the shoulds? Do you should all over yourself? Huh? Right? I should be able to sit for 10 minutes. I should be able to sit for 20 minutes. I should be able to sit for 1 minute, right? Are you holding yourself in love? Myrtle Fillmore, who's the founder of Unity along with Charles, her miracle of healing that she experienced arose because she went through a process of loving her body. She went organ by organ, cell by cell, inviting forgiveness and compassion and love to every aspect of her body. And in that process, she was healed. That is the power of love. So when you are practicing this self-care, there is this sweet spot because it's easier to love yourself when you know that love is yourself. Right? You are love. End of story, period, right? You are love. You don't have to become anything. You don't have to get anything. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to forget something. You don't have to grow a certain way. You already are it. And it is so hard for us to remember that in the midst of life, in the midst of being a spiritual seeker. There's always this next level that we're trying to hit. And when I hit that, oh, then I'll be love. You are love right now. And in that space, that place, we have this balancing point between self-care and self-protection. And when we are practicing self-care, it is actually opening us into a larger understanding of ourself and the world. And when we are practicing self-protection, it is actually creating a smaller understanding of ourself and of the world. If you feel as if you are trying in some way to contain your world, that is about self-protection. If you are standing in the very truth of your being and listening deeply to how you are called to show up as love, as the thing that you already are, guess what? It's going to open the entire world up for you. It's going to create new spaces in your understanding of what is possible. It's going to take you out of the familiar. It's going to take you out of what you already know. And it's going to move you into this place where it is all about giving and receiving. So it's all about giving and receiving. See, when we feel as if we need to protect ourselves, or when we feel as if we are depleted, anybody in here ever felt depleted, right? I got nothing left, I got nothing to give. That is because it's our human self that we think is doing the work. Our human understanding can get depleted. Our human understanding can think that there's a finite amount of something. But guess what? Our divine understanding is infinite in its expression. There is no limit to love. It is inexhaustible. It is infinite. So that means if you are love, that you are inexhaustible. You are infinite. And how often do we forget that? How often do we forget? And this is where the giving is receiving, because if I know that I can give without ever being exhausted, that opens me up. And in the opening up, I'm able to receive something, and that's part of love. Love is not just one way. Love is not something that we track. Love is not something that we like have on a spreadsheet with like, well, I did this for this person, and then I did that for this person. And so if I add that column up of all the love that I've given this person, there's a deficit in their column, because they have not shared that much love with me. It doesn't work that way. Because in one place, you may actually be showing up with a whole lot of love, and in that particular arena, maybe you're not feeling the love coming back. But if you turn around 360-degree view of yourself, that love is coming back to you from somewhere else. Because someone somewhere is doing the same thing for you that you were doing for that other person. Someone somewhere is loving you. Loving you, and not an emotional love that can go away, but loving you. Because what we believe in Unity is that there truly is only one power and one presence. There is only one life. We are individualized aspects of that life, but we are not separate from each other. Charles Fillmore is saying that it is the connective tissue of all that there is, the harmonizing energy of life itself. So who would you be if you showed up as that harmonizing energy of love? Truly. Those moments where your personality gets caught up and you're like, they're so annoying. What happens if you shift into the harmonizing energy of love? Now, the prayer chaplains know this secret, and people who pray, really have a prayer practice, know this secret too. You cannot know something for someone else without it also being something you know for yourself. So if I can look at the most annoying person on the planet, and I'm not really looking at you, my love, in this moment, even though I'm looking right at you, I'm not really looking at you. The most annoying person on the planet, and if you can actually step into that field of unconditional love, into that space of harmonizing love, you are not just doing it for them. You are also discovering who you truly are. And all those ways that you think that you are the most annoying, bothersome person on the planet, because let's be honest, we all have those moments when we think that about ourselves. When we can stand in this field of love, then that means we're healing ourselves. As we interact with the world, we're invited to do both. There is a tendency in some of the more contemplative teachings that we think, and it is true, what I do with my own consciousness is everywhere present. But then I am invited to live it. I'm not invited to just sit on my cushion all the time, thinking loving thoughts, and then I get up from my cushion and I go out in the world and I disregard everybody around me. That is not what we practice in Unity. Our fifth principle is that we live the truth we know. That is the point of our teaching. So we sit on our cushion and we come together here and we dance and we sing and we connect and we are in this lovely bubble that is this Unity community. And then our greater work is that we go out into the world and we show up as that love and we surprise ourselves. We don't show up in the way that we think we're supposed to show up. We show up because we are listening and guided to just be love. And it will never run out. It will never run out. You cannot love too extravagantly. You cannot love too generously. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that we become doormats, right? That's part of self-care, is being able to set clear boundaries and being able to say, right? But we can do it from a place of love. Everything that we are being guided to become is wise actions grounded in love. Wise actions that are an expression of our love. Wise actions, but the actions is important. The actions is where we are actually engaged, where we're not just caught up in our own small little, I call it spiritual navel gazing. We are invited to be a larger container than that. And love is such a beautiful way to show up. So Rumi says that love is the bridge between you and everything. And we would add to that that love is you and everything. So it's you, it's everything, it's the connection between all of that. And the more we sit with it and the more we welcome it and the more we explore it, we got to be aware, we got to be curious, we got to be open, we have to be brave. How? That is how we truly make this a world that works for everyone. That is how all of the great visionaries of this planet, that is where they started from a place of love, bringing love to injustice, bringing love to the places that feel out of alignment, bringing love to all of the spaces and places within your own heart that don't feel like they are enough. And as we give, so shall we receive. We often talk about that in reference to tithing, right? We give of our time, talent, and treasure, and we receive exponentially in the way that we give. Take that understanding and apply it to how you love, not emotionally, but how you show up as the love that you are, which means that we're not protecting our heart, we're opening it. It means that we're not playing safe and small, but we're stepping out and we are engaging with the world. And we're doing it from a place that is grounded and centered, that giving is receiving. Khalil Gibran says, "Go to your fields and your gardens, and you shall learn that it is the pleasure of the bee to gather honey of the flower. But it is also the pleasure of the flower to yield its honey to the bee. For to the bee, a flower is a fountain of life, and to the flower, a bee is a messenger of love. And to both, bee and flower, the giving and receiving of pleasure is a need and an ecstasy." This is what you're being invited into. To know that as you show up with all of your magnificence, that for someone, that is a message of love. And are you open and receptive to all the ways that there is a fountain of life sourcing you, renewing you, allowing you to show up even more powerfully? Because it is through this understanding of love that we actually can give. This is where we give from. This place, this space that is the truth of our being, not from the place that thinks that I have to keep track of whether someone is giving me back, but we give from the place of knowing that just in the giving, I am already receiving.